Hey folks, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friends, a podcast where three friends drink alone together. My name's Chris.
What up? It's Tud.
And I'm Obert.
And I don't know if you guys can see a flagpole around you, but I assume that the flag is currently at either half or quarter-mast or something.
It's not even up.
We lost a good one, folks.
Yeah, this is akin to Lil Sebastian dying in Parks and Rec, because we've lost one of the best memes of all time. Well, you know, characters in a memes of all time. And that of course is Grumpy Cat. So
we can only hope that Grumpy Cat will rise from the dead like the baby horse.
Jesus Christ?
In Parks and Rec.
Oh, I think I missed that episode. I think I missed the Easter little Sebastian comes back from the dead and forgives everyone's sins episode.
Yeah. I don't know. So my sister is like obsessed with Grumpy Cat.
Well, I was going to say, Chris, you were always the one. Like I think you epitomized Grumpy Cat to me. You love that meme.
Is it because he's so grumpy all the time?
He's a cat. You know, I like cats, and I don't know. I thought it was just really funny. And he had some really good memes out there, but it's very sad. It's a very sad day. And I guess sad few days, because this happened a couple days ago, right? I think.
Yeah. I think about a week before this podcast airs.
Yeah.
So here's the news from in the past, folks.
Yeah. here's the new old news. And it's very sad. I hope he's enjoying kitty heaven, because I assume he's there.
Yeah, did you guys see that meme where it's like, I'm in heaven now, I hate it?
Yeah. He's probably not happy with it at all.
Yeah, probably not, but he was funny. But
I believe that his real name was Tartar Sauce, right?
That sounds familiar, I think so.
And apparently my cat decides
Your cats are chiming in. Yeah, they have thoughts on this. Yeah, well, apparently like the owners of Grumpy Cat made a fortune off of him. Did you guys know he was in like a Christmas movie?
Yeah, I mean, he's been in everything. There's like comic books about him. Actually, I think
Stan Lee wrote a comic about Grumpy Cat, because there's tons of pictures of Stan Lee holding Grumpy Cat.
I mean, they could have taken pictures together without him writing a comic book.
Yeah, Stan Lee probably was like walking down the street and saw Grumpy Cat. I was like, oh my god, I'm so starstruck right now. So.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, but I think the only fitting way to send him off into the sunset is by drinking and talking and joking and laughing, because that's what he wouldn't have wanted. But you know,
we're doing it anyway.
We're gonna do it
to
anyway.
Make him more grumpy.
Breaking news, boys. Brooks Koepka has won the 2019 PGA Tour Championship major. Here's your sports news 4 days in the past.
Sports in the past, yeah. That's 2 in a row for him, right?
No. 2 PGA Tour championships in a row?
Yeah.
Yes. I thought you were going to say 2 majors in a row. I was like, no, Tiger won the last one.
Oh, no, I remember that one, yeah.
Tiger.
Well, I got a funny meme about Grumpy Cat come to you guys. I don't think I sent this to you, but it's... Anyways.
Great for this audio medium. Can you just describe it to our listeners?
Can we describe it to the listeners?
No, it's too long.
No, you guys, you had to be there, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you would have to be there. You had to seen it. It's not.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense if I tried to explain it.
Yeah.
But I think like we were saying, we gotta get some drinking in on this unfortunate day of mourning. So, anybody want to kick it off?
I will go first.
Okay.
Oh, I see the little house glass there.
Yes, so I am drinking a beer by Tommy Knocker Mountain Town Craft Beer. It's from Idaho Springs, Colorado, and it was given to me along with 6 other beers by friend and listener and fan of the pod, Phil Kerr. So special shout out to Phil Kerr.
I know
What's up, Phil?
He was wondering when you're going to drink this on our last live stream.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
he was calling you out. I don't know if you saw that.
It was going to be last week, but then stuff happened and it couldn't be last week. So anyways, this is the limited edition from the Prospector series. It's called Cherrywood Sour Brown Ale.
Ooh. I thought we had a sour brown on, and we said it was really. No, you had a sour brown at the brew fest and said it was good, right? Was that what it was?
It was just a brown at the brew fest from Brewery Legitimus.
Okay. He had a red Flander ale.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the sour red ale. I wonder if that's what you're thinking of.
So let's try this out. It's 5.2 ABV. It's an IBU of 18.
So that's not going to be very bitter at all.
Thank you for the translation.
You're welcome. Yes. On a scale of 0 to 100. Actually, it's not to 100.
This is good. This is interesting. I don't think I've ever had a sour brown ale before, so this is unique.
Yeah, I don't know. I like browns for the most part, but for some reason when you say sour brown ale, I just think of like poop. I don't know.
The brown
I don't know
why.
No, this is so it's definitely got a lot of that sour cherryness on the front with that malty back from the brown ale on the backside. So I don't taste when it first hits your tongue, I don't taste any brown ale at all. It's only the aftertaste that really comes through as a brown. The rest of it is just a normal cherry sour.
Yeah, can you hold that up? It looks like a really dark. It looks almost black it looks like Coca-Cola colored. Okay, maybe it's a little more brown now that you turn the light on, but
yeah, it's a cherry Coke.
It's a little bit lighter than to me in person. It's a little bit lighter than a brown, because it's a little bit more amber, probably from the cherry and the cherry wood flavored. But it definitely has that brown ale taste. It doesn't smell like a brown ale either. It smells very much like a cherry sour.
Okay, so what would you rate this beer?
I would rate this probably a 3.5. It's pretty good. I would probably drink it again if I saw it, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to find it because it traveled all the way across country with Phil via his car.
I was going to say, is there a story why Phil brought this beer from Colorado to the podcast?
So he drove his sister out there to move to Colorado, and I guess he spent a few days trying beer and thought of me and decided to bring it back as a gift. So when he saw me,
nice.
He gave me the 6-pack, and he was super excited to bring it to me. So thank you very much, Phil. I appreciate it. This is delicious. And if you ever find any more beer that you want to give me, please do so.
Yeah.
That goes for all of us. I mean, if anybody just wants to bring us beer, of course, we will accept it with open arms.
Oh, and there's a background of like what a Tommy knocker is. I'm not sure if you guys know what it is.
No.
I think it's someone in a gang who beats up Tommies.
Oh, I thought it was a guy named Tommy in the gang who beat up other people.
Oh, maybe.
You guys
but
are both
tell
wrong.
us how we're both wrong.
So you guys are both wrong. Tommy knockers slipped into mining camps of Idaho Springs in the 1800s with the discovery of gold in our mountains and streams. These mischievous elves, though hardly ever seen, were often heard singing and working. They guided many fortunate miners from harm's way and to the gold they sought. So basically, they're like the 7 dwarfs, just mixed with a leprechaun.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, that's a funny one. No, it's funny. You're talking about going on a road trip. I'm actually, this is breaking news to the pod, I think I'm going to go out to Portland for like 24, 48 hours when I have a friend visiting in a couple weeks. We're going to drive out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm excited to get out to Portland, Oregon and try some beers. I don't know. And then I'm going to fly back, and I don't think I'm going to check a bag or anything, but I got to see how I can get some Portland beer back to my place.
So you guys are driving out and then you're flying back?
Yeah. He's flying here, and then he's got a wedding out on West Coast, so I figured I would make the drive with him.
Unless you're going to ship yourself beer when you're out there, I don't know how you're going to get that beer back.
Right. It's either ship it or I could put it in a checked bag, but that seems more expensive than just shipping it, so that's probably what I'll do.
I mean, a ship bag is... are you going to fly Southwest? Because it's only $25.
Probably not. Probably flying Northwest. No, probably Alaska, which is basically Northwest.
I was going to say Kanye and Kim's baby.
Yeah, there's surprisingly very few Southwest flights to Kalispell, Montana.
That's weird. I don't know why. Interesting. Cool.
So who's drinking next?
I'll go next. Speaking of West Coast, I bring a California beer to the pod.
California beer.
Yeah. This is from Firestone Walker.
What
are we doing? What is this?
That's California Loves. That's the drum track, obviously.
Okay. If you want, you can just keep doing that under my entire beer review. That would probably be good for the pod. No, I saw this one today at the beer store. It's a bread from, again, Firestone Walker. You can find them in Connecticut. You can find them, I think, nationwide, wherever fine beers are sold. We've talked about I think the Leo versus Ursus on the pod before. But
yeah, I don't know if it's been featured, but I remember talking about it. So
yeah, a little bit about the brewery. I like to get into the brewery a little bit before getting into the beer. But it's owned by two brothers-in-law. There's Adam, which is the bear, and David, also known as the lion. So that's kind of where they get their logo from, which is a lion fighting a bear.
That must be a fun brewery to live in. I
know, right? It's like, even says on the website, it says that even though they may battle epically at times, neither one forgets their epic love for beer. So yeah, I don't know about the good vibes going on in this brewery. But David, he comes from Europe. He says he brings a European twist to the brewery and combines the authenticity of old world craft with the innovative California spirit.
That's cool.
Yeah. And Adam Firestone. So it's David Walker and Adam Firestone, hence Firestone Walker. I mean,
I was wondering where the name was going to come from.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give that name a 1 out of 5. Like, you can do better than that. Yeah. Adam Firestone is from Central California, surrounded by vineyards and winemaking. Started brewing at an early age. And then that's how the two of them kind of combined to make this brewery. So with all of that being said, I'm going to try the beer and then I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Chris, you gonna rap over the track?
I literally only know the first 2 words of the song.
So it's pretty good. Just like Chris brought to the podcast, I don't know, was it last week, the week before, the Berliner Weiss?
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Which I don't think I had really had before. That's what this is. It's a wheat beer with tangerine, and it's got those sour notes.
That sounds pretty good.
That does sound good.
It is really good. It's a good complex sour. This one is 6.2%, but it's definitely an easy drinker. I could have this all day.
Yeah, it sounds like something that I would like to drink on a nice hot day. Sounds like it would be pretty refreshing.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It says right here on the label what kind of microflora is in it.
Ooh, what kind of microflora?
Actually, where it gets the name, the Bretta Tangerine. It's a proprietary blend of Brettanomyces and lactic acid bacteria.
Oh, so it's a kind of like a Brett IPA as well, then? Cause
like a brew IPA?
No, Brett.
I've never heard of that.
You ever heard of a Brett IPA? No, it's just a type of malt, I think, is what it is. I'm not. Now I gotta look this up because
we'll have to fact check that one.
I don't want to tell the listeners of the pod a false stat
again.
Yeah. But while Todd's looking that up, I'm going to give this my official review. This is going to weigh in at, I think, also a 3.5. It's good. It's a good sour. Nothing too outstanding for the price I paid for this. I think it was like $12. I wouldn't say it was worth it, but it's tasty. It's good.
Oh, so Brettanomyces is a type of yeast. It's a wild yeast that's used in a lot of brewing of sour beers. So it's not a malt. It's not in IPAs. It is used in a lot of sour beers.
Yep, probably this one.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think this is like the first tangerine beer I've ever had. I'm a fan.
Nice. Yeah, tangerine. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because it's like one of the only fruits that comes to mind when I drink beer. Apparently, it's my star fruit. So
yeah. Everybody's got one. For me, it's I get a bubblegum flavor sometime from some wild yeasts, and I say that a lot. And I don't know why that. Sometimes it just like sticks out to me.
Yeah, every time you do say that, I'm like, bubblegum?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like such a unique flavor. Like nothing else tastes like bubblegum.
Like bazooka or like Hubble Bubble?
Like bubblegum, man.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
By the way, fun fact for the pod, I bought seltzer today that's starfruit flavored. I will report back once I drink it.
Okay.
Oh, man. There we go.
Yeah. All right. So without further ado, Chris, why don't you get into it?
All right. So I'm drinking something from Catawba Brewing. which is here in Morganton, North Carolina. There's actually 4 different locations, one in Asheville, Morganton, Charlotte, and then Charleston, South Carolina. Which
that's a pretty big brewery for North Carolina.
Yeah. And, I've heard good things. I think I may have had 1 or 2 of their beers before, but I haven't had this one, which is called Hopness Monster IPA. So it's a nice, I can't really, there you go. See?
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's hoppy right there. And I do want to read just the description on the back of the can because I thought it was pretty funny and it threw some like southern things in there. So our Blue Ridge Mountains harbor their own Nessie, Hoppius Hedius, the Hopness Monster. She lurks in the cold, fresh waters of western North Carolina, rising to terrorize poor, hop-shy souls. As the locals say, bless their hearts, they don't know any better. With an abundance of fresh Citra and Cascade, this IPA boasts a big, biting hop profile with notes of tropical fruit, juicy citrus, and pine. And then, of course, I like this last line, dive in and face your fears. So
that sounds really tasty.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, there's the crack.
Now it's funny. Last time we had a beer from Mooresville, and now we got Morganton. So we're learning how to say town names in North Carolina.
Yeah, and North Carolina ways of pronunciation of words.
But I noticed it's not Asheville; it's Asheville.
Yeah, that's true.
Is it because there's so many transplants?
Maybe it's because I've been saying Asheville for such a long time.
Right. You got to listen to some old timey locals to see if they call it Asheville.
Yeah. We'll pay attention. Be like, hey, excuse me, where are we right now?
How do we say this town name?
How would you say Morganton?
Morgantown?
Right.
There's no W.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just dropping the W. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually Morganton. So yeah. Anyways, so poured it. There it is in all its beauty. It's it looks a little hazy. Not as hazy as some of the other beers. Darker than some IPAs that I generally drink. And on the nose, I definitely get a lot of citrus on this. I can definitely tell. Not only is there like citrus, but then that pine that they had mentioned, you can smell a little bit of that. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty crazy beer. So let's see. Let's see all the particles in it. Let's see how it goes down.
So it looks like it's going to be a little light.
That's not what Ted Cleo thinks?
Nope. That's just what Tud thinks.
Okay. I'm not channeling the beer spirits today.
No. Maybe a little malty.
So yeah, you're actually not too far off. I do get a lot more malt than I generally get from an IPA. On the front, it kind of like moves into more citrusy, not juicy. I wouldn't call this juicy, but you get some citrus in the middle, and then it does hit you pretty hard on the end with some bitterness. So they weren't lying about the
diving in
and facing your fears. It's definitely, I mean, it's definitely good. It's not my normal go-to for an IPA, as we all know after hearing us talk about beer for 40 episodes for the most part, but it's not bad.
Does it remind you of any other beers that I might have had?
I can't put a finger on one right now. I've definitely had stuff that tastes like this before, but it's just not coming to me. So,
well, if you think of one and Tud's in the middle of talking, feel free to just shout it out later on the episode. So,
okay, yeah, I'll have to ponder it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this. I think I'm gonna stick on the 3.5 train right now. It's a good beer. Yeah, it's a good beer. And I'm excited to try some of the rest of their beer. The can is probably my favorite part. I like the can a lot. You'll see pictures.
Yeah. What would you rate that can?
Oh man, this can's probably a 4.25 out of 5. Oh wait, hold on. I mean, on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is water, and no,
it's 16.9 fluid ounces.
It's a 16.9. So, but pretty good. 6.5% alcohol. But I do want to take some time to enlighten our listeners on one of the hops in this beer, because we haven't done a Hoppy Hour in a while.
Ooh, return of the segment.
Return of the segment. That's episode 6, I believe.
Yeah, Ted play us in with that classic Hoppy Hour jingle.
Damn
it.
Why did I not see that coming?
Yeah, that was poorly planned, but
Yeah.
So we've already talked about Citra on the podcast before, but we're gonna dive into Cascade a little bit. Okay, so Blind, what do you guys think about Cascade?
I really like Cascade. I know typically when a beer has it. I'm a big fan of C hops like Cascade, Citra, the third one. Centennial, there we go. I think one of my favorite beers of all time, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, has got a lot of Cascade in it. Might be. I could be making that up, but when I think of Cascade, it could be like the Space Dust where I'm just making stuff up.
Yeah,
but
it's actually Galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'm a fan.
The one thing I know from my short time of brewing beer is that Cascade is usually more of a bittering hop. So I'm actually kind of curious to see where we're going to go with this.
So we'll give a little bit of history. So Cascade is a variety of hop that was originally developed at the USDA breeding program at Oregon State University.
Sexy.
Yeah, see? So it was originally released as an American aroma variety in 1971, and it's funny because when they were making this hop, they were actually looking to breed something that was resistant to downy mildew, which is a threat to hop yards. So pretty interesting stuff. Of course, it's named after the Cascade Mountain Range, which runs through, a lot of the West Coast. Well, actually,
yes,
pretty much all the West Coast. And it was first used commercially in 1975 by the Anchor Brewing Company. So, and of course, that was in their pale ale. So its use in brewing is basically for the aroma, and like you were saying, they use it for bittering. It can be used in ales. You see it a lot in pale ales, like Obert was just saying. We hope with the Sierra Nevada pale
I
ale.
looked it up, and yes, it is the
Okay.
only hop in Sierra Nevada pale ale.
Okay.
So.
A lot of bubblegum flavor.
Yeah.
No, a bunch of bubblegum. Yeah. So yeah, you use it in a lot of pale ales. You can use it for bittering, but it gives off a pleasant, flowery, and spicy citrus like quality with a slight grapefruit characteristic. So
when they say spicy citrus, what does that mean?
Spicy, citrus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what is a spicy citrus? Is that like an orange with hot sauce on it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I think it's kind of like the pininess that they're talking about kind of gives that little bit of a bite there.
Yeah, for me, I definitely get very strong pine aroma with Cascade.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So there's a couple other varieties of it. Australia and Tasmania have a variety, but they're very similar. And same with the New Zealand variety. They're not really anything. Yeah, actually, the New Zealand version says that it's moving more towards citrus than it is the pine. So there's a bunch of different varieties out there, but it's, I don't know, pretty cool hop. You do see it in a lot of beers. And like Ted was saying, if you were to homebrew, a lot of times they'll throw in, even if it's something that you don't want, but they'll throw it in just for bittering at the end. So
at the beginning.
At the beginning?
Yeah, it's at the beginning of the boil.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you. What do you whirlpool in then?
That's the aroma flavors. That's where you throw in like the Citra, the Galaxy.
Okay.
Or even Cascade if you wanted to add that flavor into it. But the bittering hop is what's thrown in at the very beginning of the boil to add the bitterness to the beer.
There we go. See, I just talked all backwards, but Tud
you
got
did
me
brew
right.
with me. I remember this.
I was
he
there.
He was drunk at the time. So I have to ask, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, Tud, but do you have a favorite pale ale, and does it have Cascade in it?
So I was going to say, I don't think I'm really that big of a cat. Like, Cascade doesn't offend me, but I think that it's not my favorite hop. Personally, I don't like Sierra Nevada's pale ale. I'll drink it because it's a good beer. I can tell it's a good beer, but it's not my favorite go-to pale ale.
Which is?
My favorite go-to pale ale, I like Lagunitas pale ale.
That's a good
I also like Lagunitas. They have a very rare pale ale that every time I see it, I buy it. It's called Born Again or Born Again Yesterday.
Yeah, I've seen both of those.
And I'll buy those every single time. But those are done with Citra hops instead of Cascade hops.
Okay.
Interesting. That's just a little look into the Cascade hop, and I'll try and think of a beer that reminds me of this beer so I can just shout it out when Tud's talking. So
okay. Well, thanks for the Hoppy Hour. It's been a while since we visited that time.
Yeah.
So we'll have to bring it back again soon.
Yeah, we got a few other hops that we got to get into. Like I know Vic Secrets, we've talked about that a lot and things of that nature. So, but we'll get some stuff and try and do this a little bit more regularly.
Cool. All right, I've got one more beer to review before we move on from the beer section.
Tud's thirsty today. Can we come up with a name for the bonus beer segment hosted by Tud? Welcome to the bonus beer, where Tud drinks a bonus beer. It's bonus beer with Tud.
So, we all know in the past how I've reviewed vodka seltzers, and I've said that my favorite seltzer is the Polar Lemonade series. So, particularly, I'm a big fan of the blueberry lemonade, but I've drank watermelon lemonade on the pod and a few other lemonade flavors by them. So, we were in the grocery store today, and apparently UFO, which is a beer company up here in the Northeast. I'm not sure if you get it down in...
It's not a beer company.
Yeah, it's Harpoon's unfiltered offering.
Oh, never mind. So, so Harpoon, their UFO segment came out with beers that were in collaboration with Polar seltzers.
Okay, very cool. Both
so we bought
from
the box.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Nice.
We bought the entire box. There's 24 beers in there, and there's different flavors.
Oh, it's a variety pack.
Yeah. So they have a blueberry lemonade flavor, they have a watermelon lemonade flavor, and then two other flavors that I'm drawing a blank on right now. Probably regular lemonade if I had to guess, and something else.
Blackberry maybe? I don't know. Strawberry? It's probably a berry.
It is blueberry lemonade, watermelon lemonade, blood orange lemonade, and mango limeade.
Oh, wow. Those sound
pretty
good.
The mango limeade seltzers, those were my jam from Polar. I would go through it. They didn't even come in 12 packs. I'd go through an 8-pack of those in like 6 days.
So I wanted to bring this to the podcast real quick because it's just something that's always been a running conversation when we talk about things that aren't beer. On the can, it says, refreshing and crisp with the essence of watermelon and lemonade. This seltzer-aid-inspired beer was brewed in collaboration with our sparkle-loving friends at Polar.
That's cool. So, in case you're wondering, for those who can't see the webcam, this is a beer. It's not a seltzer. It looks like a beer. I assume it smells like a beer.
It even barks like a beer.
Okay.
Quacks like a beer, I guess, because if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and smells like a duck, it's probably a duck.
What do ducks smell like?
So, this beer does smell like watermelon
like wet
lemonade.
Chicken. This is going to be interesting. By the way, I already texted Dana and she wants some, so set some aside.
Ditto. I want some.
So, it tastes like UFO's beer, but with a hint of watermelon and lemonade. It actually is really good. It's a wheat beer, so it's got that, obviously like UFO, it's got that little weedy flavor to it, but it's definitely... I like this better than UFO's normal beer.
You know what I'm just realizing? There's like nothing seltzer about this other than the fact that it says Polar on the side. It's not like they mix seltzer water in. They just use the same flavors that Polar uses.
Right. They used watermelon and lemonade flavored to make UFO beer.
I don't know why I was expecting it to be like more like seltzer than that, but
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh man, it's going to be so bubbly. Wait, hold on. What? Oh, wait, that's how beer works.
This is really good.
Yeah, they sound really good. It sounds like what's the alcohol content on that? Just right quick.
It's 4.8% ABV.
Okay, it's kind of what I imagined.
Yeah, it's really good. I would give this probably a 3.75. I drank this if I saw this.
Now hang on, is that on the beer scale or the seltzer scale?
This is on the beer scale.
Okay.
Because as we discussed, it is a beer.
0 to 100 on the seltzer scale. Right.
But it's 101 on the seltzer scale.
That means it's more than soda.
It's higher than soda.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
I'm excited.
Go find this, people. Especially if you live in the Northeast and can actually find it.
There you go. Yeah.
It'd be cool to see, like you said, if it was bubbly. I wonder if they could add extra carbonation to beer to make it bubble like soda or seltzer. I don't think that would be very good, but I'm curious if it can be done and not just be foamy. You know, what makes beer foamy versus bubbly. I don't know.
Probably
It's all
magic or
carbonation,
something.
right?
Right, but like you never see like a soda having a long sustained head unless it's like root beer. Otherwise, it just like dissipates quickly.
It's got to be the wheat content then, I would imagine, or the grain content versus non-grain.
Well, I want a beer that bubbles like a soda.
And just has no head at all?
Yeah, I want it to be bubbling the whole time I'm drinking it. I want a beer that's a soda.
You know, this is kind of like we're going down a rabbit hole here, but
It's okay. It's our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
That's true. But this actually reminds me of like a really funny thing that happened to me up in Connecticut. And we went to our favorite establishment in Connecticut, which is, of course, Two Brothers Pizza. I expect when I say my favorite establishment, everybody like yells.
The audience is like says it along with you.
Yeah. And if they don't, you should. Anyways, so we were at Two Brothers and we were at the bar, and Nick, who's one of the owners, he poured a couple beers and he had them on a tray, and I noticed that he kept like stirring these beers, which was kind of weird. And I didn't say anything. He's like, go ahead and ask. And I was like, what? he's like, ask why I keep stirring these. And I was like, okay, why do you keep stirring them? And he was actually saying because, so this guy loves beer and has great beer all the time. And he says that he uses different levels in his tap lines. So, sometimes when you pour a beer and it's like all carbonation for like a long time, or it just pours really, really crappy or something like that. As
someone who had a kegerator and struggled with this many, many times, yes, I know what you're talking about.
So he actually uses and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's not. So yeah, he doesn't use straight up just CO2. He actually mixes it a little bit with I believe nitrogen. So all his beers are like, yeah. And it's like, and I asked why, and he said, well, then you don't have the crazy overflow when you start beer. So you actually, end up preserving beer over time because you're not pouring out
right
the beginning or the end of the keg.
That's interesting.
And the reason he kept stirring it was because it doesn't really bubble like something that was poured with CO2. So he didn't, the beer's good, but he didn't want people to think, like, I guess he had folks complain, oh, this is flat or whatever. Yeah. But it wasn't. So just really interesting. And I don't know, the bubbly,
that's
bubbly
really,
beer.
Really cool. I've never heard of anybody doing a carbon dioxide nitrogen mix before.
Yeah,
I believe that's what it was, but it was very, very cool. And, he enlightened me to it. So, Nick, if you're listening, write in. So, but yeah, there's end of rabbit hole. Let's go back out. Let's get them carrots.
Cool. So, did you guys see the article I sent you guys over?
I did. Yeah. Why don't you tell our audience about it?
Sure. So, I was scouring the web for the sake of our listeners.
The deep web.
Yes, the deep web. Trying to find kidneys and livers and that type of stuff. And I stumbled upon a article from Allagash Brewing that was published on May 14th. And it was them addressing the concern of, can your cold beer that you buy from a brewery get warm again without the risk of it skunking or losing its flavor or doing whatever people think that happens to beer when it becomes warm?
In other words, is it bad to let cold beer get warm again?
Correct. And the quick and dirty answer is, it is not bad to allow beer to get warm again once it's cold.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting what it said in the article. But they did know, like, they keep their beer cold when they sell it to you, right?
Right. Most breweries will keep it cold because while it can get warm and then get cold again, if it's cold, it does last for a longer period of time if it's consistently cold. If it gets warm, it's not going to ruin your beer. The only time it will adjust the flavor of the beer is if you have an IPA, so like a Treehouse or Sip of Sunshine, or you name what your favorite IPA, and allow it to get to something that's incredibly hot, so like 90 degrees, 100 degrees. That's when the flavors of the hops will start to dissipate. But if you allow the beer, even the Treehouse beer, to get up to 60, 70 degrees, and then you put it back on ice, it's going to be perfectly fine.
Now, I did want to step in here and say, when you say they keep it cold because it stays good for longer, there's nothing that's going to go bad and make the beer, any worse for you than regular alcohol. It's not like it's going to go spoil. It'll just, it'll lose its flavor faster. It won't be as pungent of aroma, like the flavor won't be there. That's what you mean when you say it'll go bad. It won't be as fresh.
Right, yeah. It doesn't turn into poison or anything. But
well, more than alcohol already.
When you're a brewery and you brew thousands of barrels of beer and you want to sell it to as many people as possible, you want to keep it fresh and as good tasting as it is off the tap for as long as possible. When you're buying beer for your own consumption, you're not buying thousands of barrels of beer. So the idea is that you will drink that beer before it goes bad, even if it does before it starts to lose its flavor and or aroma.
Yeah, Tud, now I know that's not always the case because I've had Julius's at your house that were like 4 years old.
And they were still good.
They were not
Is
that
Treehouse
good.
even that old?
Oh, yeah. Of course they are, right? I think, yeah.
Man, time flies.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
I did want to say one other thing I thought was interesting from the article, which is it does say that beer can get skunky, and that is a true thing. But it just said that what happens is it's due to light and not due to temperature.
The temperature, when it gets high, it hastens the oxidation of the beer, and that's what makes the flavor go, makes all that stuff go. So, but yeah, it shouldn't get skunky unless it gets penetrated by light, which is cool. Yeah, it was a lot of good stuff because...
Yeah, I just want to quote from the article here. It just said, skunking is a reaction caused by light interacting with a chemical compound found in hops and has nothing to do with temperature. The technical off-flavor name of skunky beers is light struck, as most common in beers packaged in clear or green glass. So next time you buy a Corona or a Rolling Rock, think about that, folks.
Oh no.
Well, that's why my biggest complaint with Heineken, for the most part, is that it always tastes a little skunky. And that explains a lot because most of the time Heinekens are served in green bottles. Now, if you get it on draft, Heineken tastes like an entirely different beer. And if you've never had Heineken on draft, I recommend going to have it because it is like a different beer.
Huh. Yeah, that article was pretty interesting, but it's getting to be that time where we offer you our wisdom, our life hacks, our frosty mug with 3 handles on it. It's time.
Wisdom-y wisdom.
For our wisdom-y wisdom. And I'm going to just jump into it right away, if that's cool with you guys.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
So, in case you don't know, this is a podcast for those of you who are again, listening in the back of an Uber. Or playing it for your Uber driver. So we're a podcast. So I wanted to recommend to our Apple users, our iPhone listeners, a better podcast app than the default one, which some of you may be using. I am a huge fan of Overcast.
Me as well.
Yeah. I've tried a bunch of different apps. It took me a while to find a good one, but Overcast just works really well. It works better. It works as well as the old podcast app did before Apple went and messed it all up. But there's also some cool features. They have a shorten silences feature. They have a voice boost feature where it kind of makes voices sound a little smoother. It has the typical skip ahead, skip backwards. It's good playlist features. Really, it works. It does what you need a podcast app to do. If you're still using the Apple one, take some time out of your day. Again, it's a free app. There's a pro version, but the free one's fine. It's all I use. Download that. You can also export and import your list of podcasts. So I've done that before. It's handy. Check it out.
Can I say a few more
sure,
things about this app?
Yeah. What do you like about it that I haven't mentioned?
One cool feature I like is it does have the fast forward and rewind feature, but it allows you to change the seconds of those fast forward and rewind features. So, for example, I have my rewind feature set on the normal standard 15-second.
Yeah,
feature.
The skip ahead, skip back. Yeah.
But the skip ahead feature I have set to 7 seconds. That way I can more quickly get to where I need to be if I'm looking for something in particular. And it doesn't put me as far advanced where I'm trying to guess, between 15-second intervals. And another thing that should be known is the guy who founded Tumblr is the inventor of this podcast app. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's his passion to have a podcast app that's the best podcast app out there. So he's the only one who's programming it. It's just him doing it by himself. So this is like his passion project.
Is that only for iPhones?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
Podcast Addict is my recommendation for Android, but I used that for a little bit. It's not as good as Overcast, but it's better than the Google Play one.
Yeah, that's the one I use. I use Google Podcasts. It's just easy.
Yeah. So I'm going to hand it off to Chris for the middle handle. Chris, you look ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. So I just want to share with the listeners and everybody that I love hot chicken. So
that is a North Carolina thing, right?
It's a Tennessee thing technically, but
that's what I thought.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. But if you make hot chicken the way it's supposed to be made with like all the oil and all the breading and all that stuff, it ends up being like not #TudFit. So I've been striving to find a hot chicken equivalent that's at least more healthy, and I made one today. It's a dry rub that you put on, and then you grill the chicken. So it's if you're on a diet, it's no oils, no nothing. You mix all this stuff together and throw it on the grill. And I'll tell you what, it packed a little bit of a punch. It was pretty potent. And it was pretty tasty. Grilled it up just right, so it was really nice. But it's really good, really easy to make. I'll put the recipe in the show notes, of course. And it packs a little bit of a punch. So if you like hot chicken, spicy chicken, I think this is technically spicy chicken, but it's close enough. But
so wait, what's in it? What's the secret ingredient?
So it's not really.
You don't
much
have to go through all of them, but like, what was the one thing that you thought set it apart?
So it uses a hefty amount of like cayenne pepper, which can give it some spiciness, and then this one had a tablespoon of thyme in it, which was
interesting.
Yeah. It gave it like a nice little kick there. So, and there's a bunch of other stuff that is in it as well. Paprika and onion powder, garlic powder, all that fun stuff. But
and what kind of chicken did you put it on?
Just boneless, skinless chicken breasts. So
okay.
Yeah, we cut them into like strips almost, and then just did some dry rub on them and threw them on. Boom, boom, boom.
Now, my problem when I have a dry rub is it always sticks to the grill. Do you have that problem?
I actually didn't, and I don't know why, because I was expecting it. I got the grill really hot. I don't know if that helped, so I don't know. But it was, I actually didn't have that issue, and I was expecting it. So, but the grill is brand new. It's 1 day old. So,
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Secret handle, new grill.
Yeah, it's
not even dry chicken will stick to this baby.
But for as easy as it was really, really good. So I would suggest trying it.
I look forward to trying this.
Yeah, it's good. So
the one time I've ever had hot chicken was in Tennessee with you, and it was delicious.
Oh yeah, but that was the OG. That was Hattie B's. That's like the hot chicken. Actually, there's probably some other better ones, but
so if the hot chicken is a 10, what is this knockoff home grilled, fat free, not fried?
with 0 being plain old chicken.
0 being water. Well, yeah, 0 is plain old chicken. Oh man.
Boiled
#TudFit.
Chicken breast.
Yeah. #TudFit's rough when you have to eat chicken, Yeah. I would say this is probably, I would say a 6.5 or 7. It's good, but I mean,
that's pretty high.
It's not Hattie B's, it's not original hot chicken. So
did it come with mac and cheese?
I don't like mac and cheese, so no. I mean, you can make mac and cheese and eat it with it, but
did it come with coleslaw?
No, it came with grilled vegetables, which were also delicious. Yeah. So, but Tud, take it away. Third handle.
So, who here has wooden furniture?
Me.
This is an audio medium.
I raised my hand.
So, my handle today is lemon oil. Have you guys ever used lemon oil?
No, but I was hoping that Chris had just thought of a beer to interrupt you. But
no,
like Lemon Pledge.
No, this is different. So, lemon oil is something that you can buy from the store, and it is specially designed to help sustain the finish on wood furniture and wood type objects. So, for example, if you are a guitar player, for any listeners out there who happen to play guitar, this is something that every time you take your strings off your guitar and restring it, you should be rubbing lemon oil on the bridge. That way, the neck of the guitar stays moist and doesn't start to dry out. And doesn't...
Where's that confounded bridge?
And you don't get to start that. You don't get to get the wood to bend or to start to dry out. Same thing if you have a really nice wooden table, you want to rub that on there and just let the wood absorb that oil. So I've been using it. I dabble in guitar in my free time very poorly, but I have been doing that since I was told about it from my old guitar teacher. And I've actually slowly started to put it on everything wood that we own. And you'd be surprised with if your wood is really starting to dry out and you put this stuff on there, the lemon oil will be gone within 5 to 10 minutes.
Just sucks it up.
Yeah, it's just like dipping the wood in water. Like the wood is just so happy to be hydrated again. So I recommend everybody going out buying lemon oil. You'll find it in the same aisle as the cleaners and the pledges and those types of things. But this is a lot less chemical than pledge. It just happened, and it smells better too. It smells like lemons, obviously. Just don't drink it, please. That would be horrible.
Yeah, I hate to end this episode on like a bummer of a down note here, but
don't worry, I have something else to follow this up, so you won't be
okay. Good, but like it's times like this when I'm co-hosting a podcast with someone recommending ways to keep your furniture looking nice that I realize how old I am. I'm like, yeah, I'm at the stage in my life where I should be caring about how my furniture soaks up lemon oil. Well, thank you for that very responsible adult handle, Todd.
#adulting.
Yeah.
So before we end, I do want to give out some shout outs. Anybody who watched our Instagram live video from Saturday, May 18th, 2019, saw some individuals who were who were in the video with us, and I just want to give them a special shout out as they are first time listeners this week. So shout out to Linda and Julie, who are sisters, Susan, Rachel, who is Susan's mom, Caitlin, who is Linda's daughter, and Tom, who is Caitlin's dad, as well as Linda's husband, and was the designated driver for the group of ladies that I ran into. It was great meeting you all. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Please reach out to our email, DAWFpodcast, with anything you guys want to
prove
share.
That you actually did listen to the whole episode that Ted recommended to you.
No, they were awesome. They're just a whole bunch of ladies that like to travel around and go to all the breweries in the area. A couple of them are from Vernon, a couple of them are from Colchester, a couple of them from East Hampton. So it was just really cool to meet them. It was really awesome to get to know them and actually have them on our Instagram live. Another shout out I want to give is to Heather from Hop Culture. She was happy enough to invite me back to be able to talk to her a little bit more about beer. Her and her husband,
nice.
Sam. Yeah, her and her husband, Sam, who own the brewery. So I will be back, Heather, in due time to talk to you guys as well. And then another special shout out to my new t-shirt that says our new slogan, #TudFit.
I was waiting for you to bring this up at some point in the episode, but
yeah. I want to thank #MomOfThePod for putting this together for me.
Oh, so. That's awesome. Okay,
okay, that's the backstory there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And as someone who's been following the #TudFit lifestyle the last couple weeks, I think I want one.
I think the trick with the TudFit t-shirts is you got to market them. We got to start selling these t-shirts. But two, we got to market them so that, like all of the sizes when you buy them, they come 2 sizes bigger. So it like already looks like you lost a bunch of weight. When you buy a large, it comes in as 2X. You buy an X, it comes as 3X. Like that's how I think we got to start marketing these #TudFit t-shirts.
You want to look skinnier? Just buy this large shirt.
Yeah. Wow, that guy lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah, have you heard of this #TudFit?
Yeah.
And so with that, thank you guys for listening. We'd like to thank the breweries for bringing today's beer. So I'm going to thank Tommy Knocker Mountain Town Craft Beer for bringing their Cherrywood Sour Brown Ale, as well as Harpoon for their UFO wheat beer with Polar Springs Watermelon Lemonade beer.
I don't think it's Polar Springs. It's just Polar.
Listen,
you're thinking of Poland Springs.
Well, I'd like to thank Catawba Brewing Company for their Hopness Monster IPA.
And I'm going to thank Firestone Walker for the Bread of Tangerine.
Please make sure you guys are following us on all social media at DAWF Podcast. That's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Untapped. Also, make sure you're hashtag following the email at dawfpodcast@gmail.com. We'd like to give a special shout out to James Vakovic Designs for his awesome 3-mug handle of wisdom design that he designed for us.
3-handled mug. 1 mug, 3 handles, Todd.
Listen, last one was perfect. This one's not good. We're leaving this right in, though. So 3-handled mug of wisdom. It's, 1 cup, people. This is all we do. Also, we'd like to give a special shout out to our, make sure you guys are going on.
I wish it was 1 cut.
Make sure you guys are going on to our Patreon and subscribing to that because we're going to be putting out exclusive content pretty damn soon. As well, make sure you guys are going to our new website, dawfpodcast.com, where you will find information about all the hosts, as well as a link to our Amazon affiliate link. Click that link anytime you want to buy something from Amazon, whether it be you want to buy a pen or you want to buy a Range Rover. We get a little bit of that cut from that purchase. So make sure you guys are heading over to dawfpodcast.com to find the Amazon link. Also, when we recommend something on this podcast that you guys can buy on Amazon, make sure you're checking the episode description for a link to that item, and you can click on it right from there. It'll pop up your Amazon, whether you're on a computer or it'll pop up the Amazon on your app on your phone, and you can buy from there. Also, make sure that you guys are going to iTunes and giving us a 5-star rating. The 5-star rating really helps. Any ratings really help, but obviously we have 5 stars now. We don't want to lose that. So make sure you guys are going on there and giving us your rating and letting us know what you think of the pod. And with that, my name is Todd.
My name's Chris.
And I'm Obert. And remember, if you're drinking alone, do it with friends.
So should I buy hashtag TudFit t-shirts for everybody?
Yeah, I think that's what we should all be wearing at the bachelor party.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
That would be awesome.
That actually would be awesome, yes.
How many people?
I think we should all get Ted Fat shirts for when we're drinking